I've been making videos here on YouTube for about 3 years now. And in those 3 years, I've never once talked about the man Chris Benoit. Mainly because not too many people like this man, especially here in the YWC. And they have good reason not to like him. Because of the tragic accident that happened 5 years ago today, which resulted in the death of his son Daniel and his wife Nancy, and then the suicide of Chris Benoit. It was definitely a sad day in wrestling, especially since the WWE has been really trying hard to build their reputation, or to rebuild it, I should say. The steroid scandals that have been going on pretty much all through the 90s, and, especially the early 90s when Vince McMahon was in court. After that, it finally looked as if the WWE was becoming, known more than just a place to use steroids. It was becoming a entertainment juggernaut. A place where you can tune in each and every Monday night to enjoy some great entertainment. Of course, that was until 2007, when Chris Benoit killed his family and himself for reasons we will probably never, ever know. You can speculate all you want. You can say that it was steroid related. You can say it was related to a number of things, but the truth is, we don't know. One thing is for sure, though, Chris Benoit definitely had a few screws loose. I mean, just watch any match that involves Chris Benoit, and you can see that man, he destroyed his body each and every night in that wrestling ring to entertain the fans. He didn't care what he did to his own personal self, just as long as the fans enjoyed what they were seeing and got their money's worth. It's without question that Chris Benoit is one of the greatest technical wrestlers that has ever graced the canvas. He's one of the best submission wrestlers, one of the best high flyers. He could do no wrong before his death. Of course, now, since the tragic accident that happened 5 years ago, he's now deemed as a worthless piece of shit. And I'm not going to argue with anyone that wants to sit there and say that Chris Benoit is a murderer and he's a no-good son of a bitch. Who am I to say that you're wrong? You're entitled to think whatever it is that you want to think. I look at Chris Benoit through two different lights. Of course, the one light that I look at him through is the light that says, damn, dude, what the fuck were you thinking? What the hell was going on in your head to make you smother your little boy and then to choke out your own wife? What in the world was so bad in your life that you had to do that? That's a terrible thing. And no one deserves any kind of justification for their actions when something like that happens. Okay, that's the one light that I look at Chris Benoit through, and that is a dark light. Of course, then there's the other side of the coin, the other light that I look at Chris Benoit. I look at Chris Benoit, the wrestler, the performer, the entertainer, and I go, there's a guy that will do whatever it takes to make the wrestling fans happy. And that's the Chris Benoit that I like to remember, the one that I enjoy the most. I'm not going to sit here and make it sound like I know these wrestlers on a personal level, because that's not the case whatsoever. All that I know is what I see on TV or a DVD or a book. I don't know these guys. I don't know them from Adam. All I know is what the WWE shows us. And I tell you, Chris Benoit, his whole wrestling career was nothing but magical. He was without question just one of the greatest pure wrestlers out there. And then he had to go and tarnish all of that by killing his family. Chris Benoit is one of those guys that you look back on his career, and especially in WCW, you wasn't quite sure where this guy was going to go. You didn't, because he was stuck in the mid card for so long. And don't get me wrong, he always put on great matches, but you never knew if he was truly going to make it to the main event level. And then he jumped ships with Dean Malenko and Eddie Guerrero, and they joined the Radicals, or I should say, they made that new group, the Radicals, and they showed up on Raw one night and stunned everybody. They made an impact. Of course, from there, Chris Benoit's career, took off big time. He won the 2004 Royal Rumble and then went to WrestleMania and defeated two of the greatest wrestlers ever in Triple H and Shawn Michaels in that triple threat match. And that was without question one of the greatest triple threat matches the WWE has ever put out. And from there, he just went on to more and better things. Of course, when you get to the top of the mountain by winning the championship, it's hard to go even further to the top because you're already there. But Chris Benoit, like I said before, he just never ceased to amaze me in that wrestling ring. And it just saddens me to know that Chris Benoit is capable of doing such heinous things. Or I should say he was capable of doing those heinous things. And, it's just boggling to the mind that anyone could do something like that. Of course, I'm always the type of person that likes to look at every possibility. There is that possibility, although it might be a slim possibility. There is a possibility that, maybe Chris Benoit didn't do what he did. Maybe everyone was murdered. Maybe it was set up to look like Chris Benoit murdered his family and then committed suicide. Who knows? I don't think anyone will truly ever know what went on inside those walls of that house in Atlanta. But one thing is for certain. Chris Benoit, he entertained everyone for years, wrestling, doing everything he could to make everyone, enjoy the show they were watching. And that's what Chris Benoit I will always remember. I will not ever forgive anyone that acts like he did that one night 5 years ago when he killed his family and then himself. That Chris Benoit, without question, should always rot in hell. He should burn in hell for the remainder of his afterlife, without question. That Chris Benoit. But the Chris Benoit, the one before all the brain damage of the steroid abuse and all the headbutts from the top rope. That Chris Benoit, the wrestler that just truly wanted to go out there and perform the best to his ability and just make everyone enjoy themselves, that just wanted to entertain. That's the Chris Benoit that I will always remember and I will never forget. But anyways, like I said in the very beginning, I've never talked about Chris Benoit. And, for those of you guys that listen to this whole video, I hope you enjoyed what you heard. And, please feel free to leave me your thoughts and opinions about Chris Benoit. If you have any fond memories of Chris Benoit, with any of his wrestling matches or anything of that nature, please feel free to leave a comment about it. Of course, if you want to rant about Chris Benoit as well, about how he's a no-good scumbag, you're more than able to do that as well. Anyways, this is goldizzy. Peace out, everybody.